I would like to introduce to everyone our judges for today. So uh, we have the PS from the NGO. So is my screen visible? Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we have Dr. Shishir from Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is an initiative inspired by the vision of transformation, change and rural development process by leveraging knowledge is, institutions to help building architecture of an inclusive India. Our judge, Dr. Shishir Gaur, is currently working as Associate Professor at IIT BHU Varanasi in Civil Engineering Department. He is currently an integral part of Water Management Project at Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. And also our next judge is Dr. Sukda, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Humanistic Studies at IIT BHU Varanasi. She's a core group member of the group that developed Anusarka language assessor cum machine translation system. She's the counselor of Social Service Council at IIT BHU. So I would like to tell you also about our Social Service Council. So, our Social Service Council is one of the youngest council of IIT BHU. Social Service Council works towards promoting social awareness, providing a platform to the students to understand the problems of the unprivileged and offering feasible solutions at ground level. So, we have four clubs under Social Service Council, which are Kashyotkarsh, Health and Hygiene Club, Social Projects Club, and Sahyog Club. The mission of these clubs include spreading awareness regarding education among people from marginalized communities. So, this Kashyotkarsh Club works in four bastis: Kakarmata Basti, Lehertara Basti, uh, Patia Basti, Patia Basti, and has also started an initiative called Green Hands, in which they planted trees across the campus and around the campus. So, moving on to the next club, which is Health and Hygiene Club. Uh, this club aims at awareness about various diseases and their preventions. So the third club is Social Projects Club. Social Projects Club aims to contribute to human community through focused and rigorous approaches to finding different roots and causes for the rundown of society, and thereby creating impact and providing remedial measures. So moving on to our last club, which is Sahyog Club. Sahyog Club aims to spread awareness about education through some of the activities such as computer literacy programs, both on campus and off campus, awareness about various government schemes related to girl child education, education loans, social government schemes, etc. For this, we visit four schools and one NGOs every Saturday. So, Social Service Council organizes this annual social awareness weekend every year to spread the social awareness among people. It is a platform to recognize the continuous improvements in our society initiated and accelerated by the combined efforts of all socially motivated students and NGOs across India and abroad. This year, Jagriti 21 is hosting 5 events, one of which is a Social Innovation Challenge, which aims to possibly impact people's life by identifying social issues and addressing them by designing a broader vision. So, proceeding for the event today, which is the round two of SIC, we have 5 teams. So, not taking much of the time, I would like to welcome our teams and our judges and continue with the presentation. So, for this slot, I would like to invite our first team, Team Neptunus. We have Aditya and Sneha for this. So, Sneha, are you able to present your screen?
No, the option is not. Now came.
Okay.
Before we start, just to confirm, Sukhoday ma'am, are you able to edit the sheet, the score sheet that we have sent to you?
Wait, is there any link for that? I did not notice it.
Yes, ma'am. In your mail we have sent it.
Acha, acha. I'll fill it.
Okay.
So problems that we are focusing on, that normally the grey water that is wasted by washing dishes and bathing, those are all grey water, and the water pipeline system in cities little not correct, so we will focus on that also. Then modern use of soapy liquid to wash utensils instead of ash and soil, all this and also many people are affected by water borne diseases, so we are focusing on these problems. So what we had attempt for the our solution is that to develop a solar thermal evaporation technique using parabolic mirrors, pipes and coolants, and using mineral coated pipes to add minerals, required minerals in that. And also we are planning to make a new structure in building piping systems, and for less polluted water, simple filtration techniques will be we will use. And also to make people aware and ask them to use the old traditional method to clean utensils so that the water will not pollute much. So how we are implementing is, so in buildings, if we will put two sinks of water in bathroom and basin, in one sink only the without soapy waters will go, because sometimes only we are cleaning dirts and all and not the soapy thing, so that will go from one sink of the pipe, and the soapy water will go from other sink, and we can apply sensors for that. And that will work similar to like in our food pipe, air and food are separated, something like that. And then uh, for non-soapy water will be purified easily in buildings only by using net sands and simple filtration technique, carbons and all. And for soapy water we will take it to our solar distillation plant and we will clean it there. As water will be totally pure, there will be absence of minerals, so we have to add minerals in it according to needs and all. Our working will be means very simple, that the parabolic mirrors will concentrate the heat of the sun in one pipe, in which water will be converted, will be there, and that will get to too much heated, and then we will use that heat to evaporate the fresh water in one container. And then that will be contains like simple the distillation is working on, and we will do like that. Like here in this setup we can see that in city or village, first the two pipeline system will be there, as I mentioned before, the less polluted water will be go by simple purification method and will again return to the building, and the more polluted water will be sent to the our plant, and they're using parabolic mirrors or other type of sunlight heat energy concentrating technique, we will heat the fluid inside that, and that heat will be transferred to the water, and water will evaporate, then it will be condensed in other container, and pure water will be obtained. And then by adding required minerals and all, or we can coat the required minerals on pipes also, and we will send that clean water to the city. Then feasibility of this, that the each component of this setup is available in market. It is also not harmful. We are using solar energy, very less of use of electric will be there, might be only in pumping processes and all. uh, this setup is simple, and it is environmental friendly. The cost of pipeline mirrors and tanks might not be much, and we are using renewable source of energy in it, so not much electric cost. Water impact will be that water will be purified easily, energy will be saved. Since special setups of building, people will be more aware to save water and try to conserve it in more. Waterborne disease will reduce, and people will get perfect mineral water as it is afterward according to requirement. Thank you.
Okay, it is very good. Please go back to the third or fourth slide where you are presenting the sketch for your system.
This
Okay, here. Okay, yes, here. Okay, so here you are. There are 2 points. Like when you are talking about the evaporator, so here you have to discuss about the residuals as well, because if you are saying it is a grey water, then it is coming there, then water will be evaporated, but residuals will be there. Then how to deal with that? Because that is the most challenging thing always. So because when you are going to deal with a large volume, then you have to discuss about that as well. Okay, this is the first point. So do you have any idea about it?
those might be, we can clean them by manually or by employing robots or something.
Yeah, exactly. So what is the point? That in that case, that design of that evaporator is very, very critical and very crucial, but it is very critical as well. So if you want to really implement that idea, then you have to work on the evaporator. That condenser is also okay, I can understand, but there, that is okay, we can deal it. But that design of the evaporator, that you have to work on that particularly in detail. You have to prepare the diagram for that, that how the water is coming, then how you are going to treat the residuals, that you have to manage. So this is first point where you have to put more efforts, because feasibility of the project is very much dependent on that system. And second, I will suggest you that try to get some realistic cost, but maybe not very accurate, but some cost factor, so that you can say that, because what is important, that you have to compute, or you have to calculate the cost of treatment. So you have to calculate the cost, let's say per liter cost. So you have to calculate it, that how much it will cost, and the establishment cost and running cost as well, so that we can because ultimately there are a lot of other techniques of purifications and other ways of purification. So we have to define the feasibility as well. Let's say there are a lot of techniques to deal with the seawater as well. Okay, but again, right now the efforts are to reduce the cost of that purification. That's why the cost factor should be here, because per liter that much you have to spend. So first thing is that, and second one is the evaporator. That two things you have to elaborate. Otherwise, concept is good on the sketch. It is good. And what about this simple purification? Here you have to give more details about what does it mean by simple purification. So
Then that will be there, then different size of pebbles will be there. Then means first to in one filter the size rocks will be 3 to 5 of diameter, then in other sand type system will be there, then we carbon filter will be there, and that will make the water clean and odorless.
Okay, okay. So always you have to deal with the long-term durability. Like in the long term, how the system will work and how you can uh, clean it. So that is very important point, because right now we all are facing challenges in the maintenance of the system. It is very easy to build a system. It is very easy, I'm telling you. There are a lot of techniques or treatment plants are there, uh, that is good, and we can improve them. But again, always we have to deal with the sustainability. Like so many times you notice that after 1 year, after 2 year, then the plants are not working, something like this. So I suggest you to put more efforts for the to deal with the long term feasibility, long term sustainability of that concept. In that case, you have to deal with pollutant loading, and then how to clean the system periodically, then how to manage the waste that you have to manage. And that concept of heat transfer, through the solar panel. So here you can make more, you try to create more elaborated design, like how it will work really, है ना? This is my suggestion to you. Otherwise the concept is good. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you, team.
One-
Now, yeah,
Hello, ma'am.
Sukhdha
Sudha,
ma'am.
ma'am.
yes,
Yes.
yeah. Is this project plan on the basis of community level or a single household level or a city level? What level?
Can be means according to demand, means mainly it will good for villages and all, and for city also we can try if we will make more better structure.
Suppose it is at city level or at village level or at a community level. So how are we going to filter out that it is where the soapy water is coming, it is dirty water? Will we be able to solve this, identify? Because
Voice
at
is
the
like,
level of city, all will be mixed.
Sorry, Sukhdha ma'am. I guess you weren't properly audible. Sneha, were you able to listen what ma'am has asked?
no, it was lagging a little.
So you were saying that you will have some sensors which will identify whether the water is soapy water or plain dirty water without any soap. You will use sensors to identify that. Then at which point you will use sensors to identify different types of water?
At very sink of the this pipe, means at every house we have to put that.
So entire city will be designed on that basis. Would it be feasible? It could be probably, if the idea is, I think, good, it could be probably at the level of a personal home also. Say if somebody wants to save the water and want to have their own purifiers at home, so probably there it will work. But again, the cost of the different pipes, I don't know how much feasible would be that.
Sneha, would you like to answer this? Or?
Means it will be better for bungalows and all, and city also we can put in different houses. We'll try to make it little cheaper.
And can you go to the second last slide?
This one.
Yeah. The third point where you are saying seeing special setup of building people will be more aware to save water. Can you explain it little more?
Means by seeing such thing, they might feel means nobility to save it more, that people surrounding are putting effort in such thing. Generally very much ignoring, means people are wasting water very much.
So you will create awareness among the people. Acha. And what are your plans to do that?
Means sometimes it happen we somewhere see means it's a very green type of thing, like in a train also, if we will find that the all the compartments are good and if dustbin is very near, then people will throw them there only, but if it will be not there, they will throw out of the window. So so also here also, if means they will see that nice setups are made, and so they will be more uh, 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 spontaneous to save that.
Acha, have you ever seen any plant water purifying plants?
I mean, by school near our this river water was a purifier where near GIDC, that plant we have seen once.
Acha. Actually, many people are working in this direction and they have certain setups. They have different compartments, chambers to purify the water at different levels and all. So probably it would be good idea to visit them, see how they are working and how much space, etc. is required to have such.
My father is also working in this in water purification thing only. He is making that machines.
Okay. So that he works at the society level or river water cleaning, things like that.
At household level, means, and in industries also, means industry people need water to drink, that drinking water, RO and all.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, team, for the presentation. I would like to convey this for the next teams. We'll be having 8 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes of question answers. So to stick with the time limits we have. So the next team we have is team Shashank. We have Rishank from team Shashank.
Hello, Yashashvi. Hi.
Hi.
Uh,
So
I'm,
are you able to share your screen?
it's not available yet. One second. Oh, yeah, it's there.
Cool.
Second. Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good afternoon, all. So, my topic is Jal Rakshan. Jal Jivanam, Jal Sarvanam, Jal Parmeteshu Sampannam. Which means that Jal is Jivan, Jal is everything, and without Jal, we cannot live. Water is one of the most important substances on earth. If there was no water, there would be no life on earth. Since life is dependent on water, it is also severely affected due to the contamination of it. Let's understand what are the problems pertaining to it. Currently, due to a lot of grey water, the water body sources are quite heavily contaminated, which causes huge amount of deaths and diseases in our country. There is no proper way to measure these contaminants as well as eliminate them. Also, eradication of heavy pollutants like heavy metals, dissolved organic matters is really difficult to achieve at a greater stage. Due to which we can see like the grey water, the amount of pollutants have been increasing severely in the water. This is happening in the drinking water. The rate of pollutants is raising at an alarming rate. This goes beyond the consumption level of any human being, and due to which we are seeing a lot of diseases due to deaths due to waterborne diseases. Let's understand what are the impacts of it. In the last 4 years, India has seen around 8,000 deaths due to unclean water, which means every 4 hours there is a one person who's dying. Averaging this to a year, on an average, around 2,000 people die, as per the data of Ministry of Health. So, can we solve this? Do we have any solution for this? Yes. We propose a three-step model for this, which states detection, eradication, and sustenance. Firstly, we'll have to detect all the pollutants or contaminants present in the water, then try to step by step eradicate them eventually, and sustain the clean and healthy water so that the waterborne diseases are completely eradicated from India. For that, we are introducing a new product called the Jal Rakshak. Basically, it looks like a thermal flask which we use to carry our hot water. And let me tell you, it would be the same size probably. Let's understand how do we construct this. If you see, it is constructed under a stainless steel shell, and it consists of two UV emitters, also UV ray receiver with a rotating disc and an activated filament. For the detection purpose, what we're going to do, we are going to use the principle of light emission, which indicates that every particle absorbs and reflects back light with specific unique wavelength. This basic same principle is used in astrophysics to determine the type of matter and amount of matter present in the cosmos. Similarly, we'll use the ultraviolet light of specific wavelength to identify particulates in water. When we hit wastewater, with a wavelength approximately of 280 nanometer, it fluoresces at a specific wavelength, and a receiver can catch that wavelength and identify the type of particulate that is present in the water. Also, this the same UV ray, if projected at a very narrow wavelength, let's say less than 1 nanometer, it has the potential to kill most of the microbes. Also, the activated filament attached to the outer shell can attract most of the elements as well as heavy metals. In this way, we can eradicate around 90% of the pollutants that are present in water. To sustain this, we can see that due to the overuse of water, the oxygen level in the water depletes. For that purpose, we can also introduce the water bubbles from the bottom of the shell. Like we can just float the water bubbles from the bottom so that the oxygen level does not deplete in any water body. What is the USP of a product? We follow a PREEM program, which means P for portable. Our device is really smaller in size. It would be around 1 feet in length and around 20 centimeter in diameter, which means it is really handy and you can carry it anywhere. Real-time data. You do not need to wait for the testing of the data and wait for like several days to get the data out. You can get the real-time data via a server. When the transmitter transmits the data, we can actually see it on our wireless monitor. Also, it is highly cost effective, which is really economical, and it's as compared to the conventional equipment which we use to detect the pollutants, it is really economical. And we have also seen it detects multiple types of contaminants as well as eradicates it, which makes it really multi-purpose. How do we install it? It is a simple device. We just need to drop it under any water body or just attach it to an outward flowing pipe. For step-by-step introduction into the economical system, what we need to do is like create few products, few sample products, demonstrate them in specified areas. We'll install some pilot scale testings. We have predicted like 5 villages for 6 months. We'll analyze the growth rate and the system, the surroundings around it, how it is reacting, how the depletion of water is happening, as well as the how the product is getting affected by the contaminated water. And in a way, we can get the real-time data, and due to which we can manufacture it at a high scale. As per the research of Columbia Institute, UV rays, if used effectively, it can clean the surrounding of 10 by 10 meter in around 5 hours, which is quite effective. Let's since we have seen the device is really simple and simplistic in making, it does not cost much. The cost of assembly is really simple, and if we add up the logistics cost and miscellaneous cost, it would cost around 7,000. We can sell this product easily at 10,000, gaining a 40% margin over it. Now let's talk about the feasibility. We have seen how economical it is. It does cost really less as compared to the conventional system. The benefits pertaining to it are really great. Also, the technological and operational benefits are of great, since the ease of installation and ease of use are there. We do not need to train any professionals for it. Also, the technology can be scaled at a really large happening, and we can also produce or install plants of this size. Let's talk about the social analysis and feasibility. The pollution in water does reduce at a greater extent if we install this at a timely limit. Also, the clean water is available to the rural people, and the diseases pertaining to it would definitely reduce due to this. Although we do face key challenges, first would be the maintenance of the device. Since we see it would be completely submerged in the water, we would be needing timely maintenance of it. Also, keeping track of the devices would be really necessary, especially in rural areas. Also, if we know India is a vast land containing of around 12,500 water bodies, it would be really difficult to cover all the water bodies with it. The time could be like in decades if we want to cover all the water bodies in India. Also, educating the communities in rural areas is particularly important. They would just take the device out and throw it away, which is a huge problem in rural India, and that's why a lot of schemes are also not implemented properly at the bottom of the chain. What impact this solution would have? Due to the cleanliness we are going to get, the deaths due to the waterborne diseases would go severely down, which would also help India in achieving a sustainability development goal. Also, the efforts and expenditure spent in storing water would be saved at a greater extent. And with that, the social and economic condition of the communities would improve at a greater level. Thank you.
Okay, very good. I think it will be better participant give their brief introduction, because Shank, I don't know. Please give your brief introduction.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. This is Shashank Sawant. I'm a postgraduate student from IIM Nagpur, currently pursuing first year of MBA.
Pursuing?
First year of MBA at IIM Nagpur.
And your graduation is from?
I've graduated from Savitribai Phule University in mechanical engineering.
Okay, good. So your concept is really good. So what about that prototype? Have you developed it, or are you planning to develop it?
Yes, sir. I believe there is a startup idea installed in this. Since this is a requirement, a demand in our current ecosystem, I would look forward to develop it. Although I do not have the capital to develop it as such, but I have gone through a few research papers, due to which I was able to garner some level of forecasting that like at what level it could succeed. And I believe if things go well, I might be able to convert this into a successful startup as well.
Okay, how much do you think that you should have fund for developing the prototype?
Currently, since we need to pilot test them first, so we have to develop them in around like hundreds of quantities, so that we can test them in different kinds of water bodies. Since every water body is of a different level, if we keep it under salt water, saline water, fresh water, it would have a different effect on it, and due to which we have to continuously do R&D over it, which would increase the cost of it, and eventually the operational cost would increase. So I'll be needing around operational cost for like 2 years to sustain. Then we can start selling of the product.
Okay, so but do you have that with the help of that UV radiation, so you can't do each and everything. So that particular kind of things you can address with that. So in the water, there are a lot of possibility, like there are some chemical, there are physical property, chemical property, biological properties. So we have to clean the water in all three aspects.
Yes.
So that is my point. So point is that before going on the field, first of all, I think you should concentrate yourself for the lab testing. So in the lab testing, you can create the different, you can take the samples and you can create the huge database
Yes,
within
sir.
the lab itself. So that will help you to address, and even this is the one concept, but even if you uh, combine or join this concept with some other devices on the same working principles,
Yes.
by changing the concept.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think you can deal with more pollutants and more big range. You can change it. So I think in your project it is really good. So, and have you done any study about the conventional systems who are based
Yes.
on something like this?
Conventional systems are developed for individual testing of materials. Like what they do is they go to the river, water bodies, they take amount of sample, they travel, then they put it under lab at good conditions, and they run testing over it. And after around 7 to 8 days, we get results. And although
So,
the equipment is really
yeah.
huge, the time consumed, the money spent on it goes in complete waste, and this could be a revolution if
Uh,
we launch this product.
so here, what you have to do, like here, you have to update yourself also. They like now there are a lot of portable devices. Now
Yes.
I have already one device which I have purchased just now, and is capable to identify. It is same. It is a portable, and we can identify the different pollutants and ranges through that device. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so things are there, but exactly there are lot of limitation still with those devices or those equipments. They have different challenges, like there is a problem of calibration, very
Yes, sir.
means they are very problem with the robustness, like they are not so much robust, like
In nature.
within the time frame, within the time they perform less or something like this. They don't perform effectively. So
Yes, sir.
these are the challenges. So although I can share with you all those challenges and you can work on that, but my suggestion is that first of all you have to, like here you are doing both things. You are doing that detection, then you are working on the uh,
Eradication.
so you are
Yes, sir.
working on both, so that is okay.
Yes, sir.
So I think you can enhance your. So you are here. You are saying that ultra thin electric filament attract the heavy metals and other activated contaminants. So on that part, you have to be. You have to specify,
Yes, sir.
like each and every. This is the contaminant which we are going to deal it uh,
Yes, sir.
at this level, and then we have to discuss about the rate as well, that the inflow rate, like inflow or outflow rate, that the water is coming and passing, something like this. So what will be the rate? Let's say, okay, I understand you have mentioned that 10 by 10 meter is possible to clean within the 5 hours.
Fire range.
Yeah. So that is good, okay, but that you have to specify at your level, like in the lab
Okay.
itself. So I think this concept, you can work on this concept, and definitely there are a lot of funding
Yes, sir.
for this purpose. So if you are interested, I can suggest you the funding. You can collaborate with the IIT BHU as well, because okay, you are in the IIM, but it will be better. So you collaborate with IIT, or then you try to develop your prototype. That is good. I think in your presentation is very good. Your, if I say, like your feasibility is really here,
Yes,
and
sir.
impact is already, I think it is very relevant. I think better is to work on the prototype, and you have to start working on it. I think there is no need to wait, because
Oh,
it is really in right now in the India, like all these kind of devices. Normally, we have to purchase from
outside.
China, and
Yes,
always,
sir.
always China,
Yes.
and then normally maximum time. So I think they. I think you have to work on it. My simple suggestion is that you have to start working on it, and then initially, first work at lab scale. Just try to do
Yes,
it in
sir.
at
Yes, sir.
lab.
Definitely. Yes, sir. So, yes, I would love to collaborate with IIT BHU for any project pertaining to the same concept. Also, I believe you spoke about the connection thing. Like there are already few portable devices, and they face maintenance challenges. But the thing is
Yes.
that in those devices, now the principle is contact based. Like any metal strip has to get in contact with the water body, and then it detects with the help of chemical reaction, and due to which the maintenance cost goes like really high. So I have eliminated that thing, since this device is completely based on non-contact principles. Like we are using light emission and light detection technique
Exactly.
to detect the contaminants. So
Mhm.
this is a competitive advantage we have over our competitors who are currently in market.
Oh, that is good. That is good. But again, you have to test it on at the
Yes, sir.
lab scale and
Labs. Yes, sir. Yes,
to reach
definitely,
on
sir.
any conclusion. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Surely.
Best of luck. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Sukda ma'am.
Hello, Shubda ma'am, are you audible?
Yeah. So I just want to ask not only to him but to all others also who will present later and also before. So there are some natural herbs, plants that grow inside the water and clean the water. So why those plants are not able to grow in such waters, and can we grow such plants in any kind of water? Any idea about those things also? Say we plant such plants alongside the rivers or any water bodies.
Yes, ma'am. You're talking about particular some type of algae that are present in water, cover the entire surface of the water, and beneath the algae, the water is completely clean, since the algae eats the contaminants present in the water. But I believe for it does not grow in flowing water. Like if we say there's a river body, it wouldn't grow on a river body. Like it needs a stagnant water space.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
the ponds, etc., in villages would be useful.
Yes, ma'am. But the risk with that is with those algae, different harmful algae also can grow in those areas, and we would not be able to identify which algae is good and which is bad. So we cannot rely on that concept completely.
Also, you said that in rural areas, this contamination happens to take place more because of they throw more garbage. And I feel the opposite of it, that it happens more in rural area, urban
Urban
area,
area.
because everything we use is plastic packed,
Yes, yes.
every item. So, and such things happen at very low scale in villages.
Yeah, ma'am. The level of contamination is completely different in villages as well as urban areas. And since urban areas, in urban areas there are industries present, so the level of contamination is higher in urban areas compared to the rural areas. Because the in rural areas the contamination is due to domestic garbage only.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, factories, etc. Point. Yeah.
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, Thank you, Shisham, for the presentation. Uh, Now we would like to move on to our next team. Uh, so we have Prajwal from the next team, Prajwal and Prajwal. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
And ma'am, is my screen visible? Just for confirmation.
Yes, your screen visible. You can.
Okay. Did you know that you use about 5 gallons of water if you keep the water running while brushing your teeth? A leaky faucet can waste 100 gallons a day. Want to know how
Prajalan,
you can override this?
excuse me, Prajalan. Please introduce yourself first. Give the
Yes, sir,
brief
I'm coming
introduction
to that, sir.
about. Okay.
Okay. Want to know how you can override this? Come along. I am a young innovator named Prajalan Head, studying in BGS National Public School, currently in 8th grade, and today I would like to bring forward one of my socially contributing innovations called the Ultrasonic Technology Integrated Smart Water Tap, or the UTI SWT in short. The problem. Now, what problem does this prototype solve? Well, despite water being an existential need for humans, it is still one of the most under prioritized but over abused commodity. Water is central to our lives but has not been the central point of focus while we rapidly evolve into an urban society. But why? People don't conserve water because it is cheap. People are more inclined to save electricity because it does have an impact on their electricity bill. This also leads to the carelessness of such a significant resource. But on the other hand, sometimes you knowingly and hopelessly waste water. Want an example? Why not? Sure. When you're washing your face, you have to keep the tap on so that your eyes don't start showering. Necessity is the mother of invention. Well, this was a necessity. Let's move on to the invention. How this is going to help the world or the solution. Well, the constant search for answers has resulted in a state of the art idea that begins with individual needs and transposes visionary technologies for saving water. The ultrasonic technology integrated smart water tap is an innovative project that cures the water crisis problem with less amount of awareness among us. We will no longer need to worry about running or leaking taps and be reliant on others to fix this issue because of the groundbreaking technology used in this spectacular idea. Leaking is abolished. It is an inexpensive project that can be implemented in both personal households and in industry levels. It is easy to manufacture and mount. The difference. Now, what is the difference between the ordinary tap and the smart water tap? Well, the main difference in the ordinary tap is that the tap water faucets are contaminated by the germs from multiple users. Now, how does the smart water tap solve this? Let's see. They are more hygienic and than normal taps because they require absolutely no human contact. You heard me right. They require no human contact, meaning they're far less likely to be contaminated with bacteria and viruses like the COVID-19. This makes it a feasible solution in public places and in hospitals, especially during this pandemic. Well, another disadvantage of the ordinary tap is that if the tap is left open by mistake or by brushing, etc., as much as 600 gallons of water can be wasted each month, assuming that a household of 4 people brushing for 1 minute twice a day with a 2.5 gallon per minute faucet. How does the smart water tap solve this? Well, the smart water tap evacuates water only when an object is placed below the tap, and therefore no water is wasted unnecessarily. How does this astute technology work? Well, this stunning prototype works with the help of an ultrasonic sensor which senses any object placed below it, a 12-volt DC high-pressure motor pump that's used in the prototype, and in the final production level model, we'll be using a solenoid valve that acts as a digital tap all by itself when sufficient amount of power is supplied to it. An Arduino Nano, which is a programmable microcontroller that can control the functionality of many electronic components. The smart water tap evacuates water only when an object is placed below the tap. This is the future of the water saving culture, and that future is now. You may be wondering that this product already exists in the market. But then, knowing this, why have I made a similar project? This is because I found some competitive advantages and I found some disadvantages in the pre existing smart taps. Well, the first disadvantage is that they are way too costly for an ordinary person to afford them. The smart water taps we see in hospitals or in airports nowadays, they are only present there because of their high cost, and they're not present in households because a normal man would not want to pay 2,000 rupees for a simple tap which evacuates water when we place our hand below it. However, our UTI SWT is around the same budget of an ordinary tap, offering more features and helps in the conservation of water and in the improvement of hygiene. Also, it is proven that ultrasound is recognized as the most effective disinfection technique for all the forms of microbacterial contamination, even for the recalcitrant microbes and the spores. Well, also, despite paying so much for a basic or the pre-existing smart tabs, you are still not given the best. Well, how do I know this? Let me give you an example. The pre-existing smart taps use an IR sensor, which is a light-based sensor. As we know, light is completely reflected by white and is absorbed by black. That means that if any black object is kept below the sensor, it will not sense it. And there should be no sunlight near or in the place where this tap is kept. And the sinks should not be of white color. And nobody would actually like all of that because that is common in normal households. Well, how do we solve this problem? Well, we have upgraded to the ultrasound technology. This can sense all sort of colors and has many competitive advantages compared to the IR sensor in this particular project. Hence, this is a minimum viable project. Comparison. Well, I conducted a research in my school and I got some data regarding that. I replaced the normal taps in my school with the prototype that we had made that I had made for the of my smart water tap, and this is the data that is shown. Well, in our school, BGS National Public School at Bangalore, it consumes almost 3,000 liters of water per day in one floor, and now, well, that is a lot of water. When I implemented my UTI SWT and measured the usage of water in 1 week, it was discovered that the UTI SWT saves an average of almost 1,036 liters of water every day in a single floor. Well, this proves that almost one third of the amount of water was unnecessarily wasted, and the UTI SWT was successfully able to save that much amount of water. Well, isn't this a huge saving of a natural resource? Also, on the right side, you can see a comparison of the ordinary taps, the UTI SWT, and the pre-existing smart taps. Now, the circuit diagram and our working prototype. This is the circuit diagram of our current prototype. And on the right side, you can see a small pic of our current working prototype that we implemented in small scale at our school. So I also have many future ideas and enhancements that I would like to do to this. The number one is adding the topic of IoT through the ESP8266 module. IoT is vast, and just adding this to any project opens millions of doors to many more opportunities that lie beyond. And that is why I think we can add IoT to this project. The user will be able to control the proximity of which he would like the water to be of which he would like the water to be evacuated. He can also get the monitoring of how much water he's consumed every month, week, and day. And also, I have future enhancements of adding some more sensors like the TDS sensors, etc., in order to also give him real-time data of the water that he is currently going through his taps. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradwal. Sir, you can ask the question.
Okay, Prajwal, nice presentation.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
what about that? Again, I same question. What about the prototype? So, what is your plan?
Okay, 1 second, sir. I'll just go to that slide. Yes, sir. So this is on the right side. This is the prototype that we implemented in school. So it has water that's stored in that container actually, and it's filled by the taps. And there's a water pump that sucks it out. That was the current working prototype. On the on the left side, you can see the complete production level, like components that will be used to manufacture this, and also this would be the product.
So, what is the size of that prototype? Like the final product? What will be the size? Like it is very bulky in comparison of the size of the sink and all everything. That's why I'm in this ratio I'm talking.
Okay, yes, sir. So the prototype, as you can see, it was quite bulky, but I aim to make the small product very small. As per, I'm also doing a 3D design for the same. I'm working on it. So as per current status, the 3D design is not more than the size of my palm. Which
Mhm.
includes all the components, including the microcontroller, sensors, everything, and the solenoid valve. So the solenoid valve is just can be fitted into any pipeline that goes to the tap, and the sensor is placed on the tap, and this is also waterproofed. So
Mhm.
yes, sir, it's approximately the size of my palm.
Okay, then it is good because that you have to deal it. So, what is your plan with this for future plans? What
So
is the
future
future
plan
plan?
is basically this is the idea, and now what is left is to implement it, and that is what I think will be my future plan. I also have my own dream of making my own company, entrepreneurial company called IIMB, which stands for Inventors Inventing Machine Business. And I would, and I also aspire to launch this as one of my first products from the company.
Okay, okay. No, that is good. That is good. Like this is first concept, and this is exactly, this is very simple and effective thing, because that is correct. Think about the basin. Think about the continents. That is good to discuss about the water, but you have to talk at the tap level as well, because normally at everywhere you have to perform the work. So that is good. My suggestion is that to reduce the size, that is okay, that you are going to address, and other to add other functionality that you can do it, so it will be better. That is also in your scope, so that is good from my side.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Sukda ma'am.
Yeah, Prajwal, you
Yes,
said
ma'am.
you have tested it in Bangalore.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and my impression was it is quite similar to the size of the normal tabs these days. It's not so, I guess. Is it so?
No, ma'am, can you repeat? I didn't quite get it.
Size of the devices or the tab is as similar as to the normal tabs that we have these days.
Yes, ma'am. The prototype was of the similar size, because we didn't have like a complete working solution for it, and we had to take care of waterproofing. So this was like an additional tap, and we told all the students in the floor to use only that tap, and the other taps were turned off. The complete product that I aim to make wouldn't be the size more than the size of our palm. And one more thing I thought is, instead of including taps with this, people would prefer using their own tabs, and this can be just connected between the pipeline and the tabs connection. In between, this is a device in between that controls the flow of water.
Acha. Okay, so you have already have that machine with you, which say that you have tested in Bangalore.
Yes, ma'am. It's there in our ATL lab.
Acha. Okay. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prajwal, for the presentation.
Thank you.
So we would move on to our next team. We have team McKinsey. We have Anusha from team McKinsey.
Hi, Ashwin.
Hi. So are you able to present your screen?
No.
Just wait a minute.
Yep.
So I guess you can present now.
Yeah. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So very good afternoon. We are Team Mac and Cheese. My name is Anusha Ramachandran. I have with me my teammate Vivek Chauhan. We did our engineering from Indraprastha University in Delhi, and we have just started our journey as working professionals. We present to you our model, Chakra, supporting prosperity, sustaining posterity. We are dealing here with the Jal Rakshan problem statement, treating water as a critical resource and focusing on the 4 R's: reduce, recycle, recuperate, and recover. Our model Chakra discusses water management system from 3 main aspects. First, the quantitative and qualitative nature of sewage systems. Second, discovery and detection of failure points. And third, mitigation and controlling actions and deliverables. We start with the elevator pitch. Here we will discuss the purpose. The purpose is to trace water from end-to-end resources, that is from the time we get it from the source water body till the time it is just discharged in the destination water body. We aim to make it an effective process, ensuring that there is water reduction at every stage in the process, and also ensuring that the water bodies, the discharge which is being placed in the water body is as clean as possible. We talk about the people here. This is a very hygienic process and a cleaner approach to water treatment. And we are not only relying on historical data, but we are also having real-time problems, and we try to tackle real-time problems with real-time actionable items using our solution, ensuring that proper discharge is proper reduction of water is happening at every stage. We discuss about how it affects the planet. We are giving water bodies primal importance as we are to reducing water from our sides as well and recycling water from our sides as well. We are giving primal importance to water bodies to ensure that water bodies stay healthy at all times. The practicality of the solution can be dealt in the four technical objectives that we have in our model. First, we use AI. Second, we use IoT solutions. Third, we used cloud infrastructure. And fourth, we are using the use of application or mobile applications. So the use of technical approaches and technological solutions makes it more time efficient. And this also ensures that at every time we check the water composition, ensuring that every person who's trying to access the water gets it in the best nutrient way as possible. Here we discuss the technical solution in detail.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So I would be discussing the technical solution to it. So the proposed solution that we have is addressing the problem of sewage, greywater, industrial discharge, and agricultural runoffs using Internet of Things. The sustainability of system and different topological considerations are kept in while designing. This project outlines the communication methods to utilize and provide secure data transmission, taking into consideration the power efficiency. Process of data aggregation and storage in regards to methods and tools employed for carrying out analytics also discussed. Features of trigger and alert generation are also included in project to facilitate the corrective measure. So the project here outlined is classified into two modes. It transmits data into master-slave configuration, and the nodes are arranged in primary and secondary node. So the proposed model goes on to determine the area of use from different quantitative values of data and detecting the pH values, the chemical composition of water, that is qualitative values of data collected. The model proposes to equip manholes with sensors that communicate through gateway to remotely located servers. The sensors can measure water level, detect pH level, detect poisonous gases, order, and oil per water ppm. The scope methods used in industries and sensitive ion electrode certain chemicals in sewage by deploying sensors throughout the sewage line infrastructure, keeping in mind topological and geographical considerations. Monitoring and trigger management capabilities are also developed into the system to further reduce the human interdependence or fault detection and communication. So when chemical in the drain reacts with electrolyte suspension, a reactive strip arranged in Wheatstone bridge is calculated, and the value based on reactive property of chemical detected converts to electrical signal, that is voltage. Various poisonous gas sensors such as methane, carbon monoxide, or phosphorus gas are hazardous and could be measured using MQ4, MQ7, or MQ9 gas sensors. Those sensors are based on the sensitive SNO2, which increases the conductivity as concentration of CO increases. A simple electrical circuit is used to translate these changes into electrical outputs. It is a low-cost sensor and can be employed in diverse applications. The controller and the communication unit is Node MCU, which is a LUA-based microcontroller with system on chip ESP8266 Wi-Fi module and multiple GPIO pins. It has event-driven API for network capabilities. Each device is unique with its IP. It is used as it has the capability of being host as well as client and allows for intercommunication using SPI and I2C communication. The communication is carried out through MQTT protocol. It uses the PubSub functionality and converts message between sensors and application. The data is transmitted to server, referred as broker here, called as publish. This is shared on secure topic. The device subscribed to that topic with authorization are able to receive that information, and using if then that IFTTT is able to act on that data. So the wireless sensor network in the proposed model is structured in static owing to the fixed topology, which is based on the geographical topology and area in which it may be employed. The nodes are clustered so as to increase the network reliability and stability. The primary nodes are responsible for carrying data aggregation and data processing, whereas the secondary nodes are merely responsible for forwarding the data it senses from the surroundings. The model is aimed at reducing the load capacity at secondary nodes for longer life of network. The primary node accumulates the data and performs basic comparison operations, while secondary node controls the actuator action and transmitting this data from nodes to server station for further data analysis and modeling. The primary node makes use of energy harvesting, and residual energy on each cluster head of primary node determines the capability and capacity of node to operate before it becomes dead in the network. So there are pressure level and level indicators into the system. Can we move on to the next slide, Ansha, please? Yeah, so that was how the technical aspects or the working of the system is outlined. Now let us narrow it down and just specify from the summarize it in a point-wise manner. So first, we classify based on urban or rural setting. Then we devise or decide on which demography and topological region it is. Is it densely populated or is it sparsely populated? Is it a hilly area or is it a desert area? Is it in the northern south of India or the southern side of India? Then we come to classifying water quality and pollutants composition based on historical data of that place. So like in the case study, there was data given on which state has which kind of chemical composition in the water constituents. So that is used and the data that is being collected. Then we move on to comparison between this referential data and real-time data stream that is connected through digital data that is conveyed through sensors. Then another point that we would be touching upon is mobile application for image processing. Then we move on to identifying the rerouting drainage paths for problematic streams of water influx. So till now we have identified which which water stream requires action, and we devise a certain route into our infrastructure that is already there in sewage to reroute to water treatment plant for customized or tailored health treatment of that water. Then we use image processing at the source to tag water texture and quality that we use for mobile application that we would be touching more on in next slide. The secure communication we have covered, how we are communicating it, then we communicating it, and there is also a failure mechanism. So redundant slave nodes are present to ensure that it is working at all times. Then we move on to the final step, that is forecasting based on historical data, and then the centralized monitoring, control, and alert systems using the cloud. Here we have used GCP for our prototyping and use a ELK stack, that is Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Logstash to pass the logs, Elasticsearch to store the JSON objects, and then Kibana to visualize the data for a centralized monitoring. So this is how it is arranged in technical aspect. Now, Anusha, you can take over.
So I'll be dealing with the socioeconomic viability of our model, Chakra. We aim to reduce 350,000 hours of manual work per city per year, and it's based on the assumption that only 200 individuals are working, and we have assumed that they work 7 hours a day. Using that assumption itself, we have calculated that we are able to save 350,000 hours of manual work. This ensures that the sewage cleaners and other people who do not get hygienic environments to work get hygienic environments to work. While we say that this is the kind of solution we implement, it might boggle a lot of people that, it is technologically super active and it needs a lot of amount of devices. But for the entire plan that we have devised, we only need 132 nodes and 10 node devices per node that we are trying to use. Just with the small amount of nodes and node devices, which includes failure mechanisms in itself, millions of lives are impacted. We have also thought about a long-term plan for our model. Over the years, let's say that 2 years or 3 years down the line, the model that it is implemented, electronic waste of the sensors might be generated. We plan to partner with CSR initiatives of different corporates, and we plan to give them the global e-waste, the e-waste that we generate across the nation, and get it recycled in the best way possible. So this ensures that our model is self-sustainable. Along with that, we aim to create 1.5 lakh direct jobs if we try to implement it right now, and 1 lakh jobs in the allied sectors, that is the e-waste management sectors and other sectors which will be partnering with. The industries, both urban, rural, agricultural, industrial sectors, all of them are impacted directly, which is the key aspect of our model. We have analyzed the cost of our model, and we have broken it down into 4 main aspects: the internal cost, that is the project scope, planning, budgeting, etc. The external cost, the actual implementation of the software and hardware materials. Then we have included long-term gains and immediate gains as well. So the immediate gains we get in the form of CSR benefits, that is, we get the devices pre-made and the sensors pre-made, etc. And the user recall initiation is possible through our Android application. So the Android application will essentially be available with the public, who can click photos of water supply that they are getting, both in the form of drinking water and in the form of water in the taps that they get, and they will get the real-time data of their water with the nutrients and water composition present in the water. While the users get that, we get A, revenue from it in the form of advertisements on the application itself, and B, we get the data to analyze the demographics better and to make it an even more sustainable model. So we have tried to cover even the revenue aspect of it from the Android application, making it useful for the user as well. The long-term gains are social benefits and the churn ratio. By churn ratio, I mean the time is to value ratio. And added tie-ups with firms ensures that the industrial revolution happens at a great rate, and it is not being curbed in any manner. The initial development cost, we have broken it down into our slave node costs, and the slave node, the nodes being primary node, secondary node, and master node. What we are set to gain, however, even when we start off this model, is the cost that we get from our e-waste management partners. The long-term impacts, like I already suggested, the churn ratio is improved. Lastly, I'll be touching upon the model canvas. The key partners will be the governing bodies for ensuring proper supervision, the CSR partners and the industrial partners. The key activities are historical and real-time data monitoring. Real-time data monitoring, which we get not only from the sensors, but also in the form of image processing, which we get from the Android application. And effective water treatment and rerouting. Just rerouting itself ensures that a lot of water waste is reduced, and giving them tailored solutions, giving real-time tailored solutions on as to what nutrient is missing, makes the model even more efficient when it is being discharged after being treated. So ensuring that water stays healthy at all time, not only our drinking and usage purpose water, but the water bodies as well. Our key resources will be referential and the chemical composition data. And we already touched upon the technology, IoT, AI, ML, the databases, which will be storing in the form of NoSQL databases and cloud, and the mobile application, which we propose to make. The value proposition is that it promotes environment-friendly habits, and it promotes environment-friendly habits from the user perspective also, when they get to know what water is made of and how the composition of water is, and also in the form of water bodies, where we ensure that we take in the amount of water that we need and we discharge the right amount of water with the right composition that we should. This reduces the gray water and ensures that nutrient rich water supply is possible. We already dealt upon the cost structure with the internal and external costs, and we also propose the revenue stream through the industrial sponsors, the reduced water treatment, and the water texture based classification Android application or mobile application. This ensures that this is a self-sustainable model in itself, and that even if anything major were to fail, we have the revenue stream already generated, which will help us rebuild the portion which needs to be rebuilt. So that's about it. We are Team Mac and Cheese, and this was our project Chakra.
Thank you, team. Shishir, sir?
Yes, there was some connection problem. So could you please just briefly explain that first technical slide?
Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll quickly give you an overview.
Exactly. Very quickly, you just explain me, because there was some connection problem.
Yeah. So apart from the Android application, we propose to have nodes installed, sensors, nodes in the form of sensors installed in manholes or sewage systems. What will happen is each primary, we have the primary nodes there. They will give the data, and once they have enough data, they will transmit it to the secondary node. The secondary node is the actual actuator, which will analyze where multiple sensors are used, and we analyze the particular electrolyte or chemical composition. This includes oil per ppm, the water ppm level, pH level, oil and grease level, and different chemical compositions, like we were also given in the data set. So once we have the secondary node, and the secondary node has the ability to check, whenever the cloud management server is free, it will transmit it to cloud. From cloud, we try to monitor it. And when we say monitoring, we analyze historical data. So let's say we are dealing with the particular demographics like Delhi. So we take demographic and we classify or parse it into highly or densely populated or sparsely populated, and according to the area, is it a dry area, is it a really wet area where rain is ample, and things like that. So we have historical data from the area that we get the sensors from, and we have the real-time data. Once we do the monitoring, we send out an alert if there is any kind of mismanagement or any kind of nutrients which is missing in water. What happens is this will ensure that the governing bodies have not only the problem in hand, but they get the controllable or the actionable items also in the form of alerts. Apart from this, we also ensure that while we are monitoring, if there is anything major happening, we try to read out the sewage water which needs to be rerouted in the best way possible, just to ensure that it does not contaminate other sewage water as well. So once we do that, this ensures that water discharge after giving targeted treatment to water is healthy when we discharge it into the water body.
Okay, good. So very good presentation, and I think we all need this kind of devices. So I have only few questions, like, do you have any review work about the existing systems, about the existing technologies? Because I think I am not sure about the India, but yes, in the Europe and somewhere people are using very much these techniques, like that IoT based or these sensor system based. So do you have any kind of review work with the existing system?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So basically, the idea is for Indian condition is unique, but you can say, yeah, it has been done in Europe.
Yes.
So stating specific, it is done in UK, where it is used to detect the explosives. So which area has the explosive contamination in their sewage drainage, they alert that system and they tell the authorities that there may be a terrorist or some, so this kind of solution is there. But the devices that are generally used are ZigBee, GSM, or other modules that are not very secure to communicate. So the the competitive advantage that we have over that is that it is very secure because we are.
I think we lost you, Vivek. So what he tries to say is that we are ensuring secure communication at all times, and we have tried to, with the prototype that we initially designed, we have made a research paper as well, which has already been published. These are the results of our log sensor data, and this is our visualization of the data in the form of graphical representation to analyze the pressure points.
Okay. So have you finalized the contaminants or the composition which you are going to target? The first stage, something like this, you have
Yes.
bifurcated or categorized?
So we did actually we did it in our college where we took the sample from our Delhi locality, and we tested on it, and we checked for pH as well as SO2 composition, whereas as well as CO and NO2 composition. So I know it will vary, as in agriculture runoffs will have more fertilizer and ammonia based components. So that way the electrolyte has to be changed. Only the electrolyte that is present in the node, individual node, that needs to be changed. There is no difference as to how to approach it in the whole Indian environment. So that we have done.
And I think it is very much applicable in the industrial zones. There you can so many times
Yes.
they can gain anything in the system. So
Yes.
there it can be used, and somewhere I think that is a good idea. And another point is, have you done some work on that image processing which you are discussing here? So have you developed some kind of algorithm, or have you worked on that? Because exactly I'm working on that for the right now for the remote sensing, and all our team is working on that. So have you done that?
Yes.
Because it is very challenging. It is very challenging.
Yes, sir. So not for water specifically, but we have tried it for air purification. So what we did was we tried to develop a deep learning model using TensorFlow, and what essentially happens is we had to initially click around 400 500 pictures in order to categorize, and we put in the values manually. But post that, we tested out using different images which we get. So that was our training set, and inside of our training set itself we divided that in an 80-20 ratio, where we kept 20 for testing purpose. The 80% we developed the deep learning model using TensorFlow, like I
that
said.
is okay. That technicality is okay, but my point is that where you are going to capture that image. So where exactly you are going to capture?
Yeah, in the Android application, sir. So what happens is the user just has to click picture of their water. It could be contaminated, or it could be after they wash
exactly
clothes.
yes, but that water that you are saying, that water, but water in which form? Like they will keep that they will put the water into their mug or something like this.
Yes.
The practicality is very much important.
So let me interrupt here, Anusha. Let me take on it from. So the image data set could be from various sources. It can be from a direct reverse stream. It can be from a tap, so that we can generalize it. So now coming on to specific, if it will be in a container, it will be in a transparent water bottle or in something like that. So that for that we will have to take in the consideration that the user will not provide us the solution we are asking for from him. So he will be providing us the general data. So we have to take in consideration that the data set that we train on consists of all those possibilities. So we have taken, as she discussed, we have taken for the air classification, we have taken in the sunset time, in the sun, when the sun is coming out, when it's rainy, taken from a low angle, taken from a very high uprise building. So those kind of different data sets we will have to take in consideration. We can't tell a customer or a user to just click an image when it is only in a transparent solution. So those kind of things would be there, but yeah, there will be fluctuations due to that. That is very
exactly, because there are two challenges. First of all, you have to take the pictures. Then how to take those pictures? Where to take? and then again you are working only on your RGB camera. So like in the remote, if you go for the remote sensing and all, then okay, you are working for the whole band. But here you are not working for the whole band, like for whole spectrum. So you are very much limited with the visual camera. So I think again there are, that is very challenging, and because the sample and even you have to test it before, and you are going to test it at the nodes. Is it so?
Sir,
You are going to test it on the nodes.
so the image classification is not at the node level.
Yes,
That will be
that's
at
right.
the directly at the cloud level, because the user will be sending in those directly to the cloud.
Mhm.
At the node level, we are using just the sensors to
Mhm.
actually sense the data. The
Mhm.
data in the data pertaining to the constituents of the chemical that are in the water.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think that you have to work on that, because that is very.
Yes, sir. That is very challenging. I absolutely agree.
Last one is that, are you going to provide that rerouting, that when you are saying that we have to reroute it, so is it your model doing that, or
Yes, sir.
right
Yes.
now it is not addressing?
Yes, sir. It is rerouting. So we have a pressure level indicator. So we have a pressure and a level indicator. So
Okay.
when a water level increases in one of the secondary node, and it detects that there is a water level dip in some other node, that is how it will detect the point of failure in that particular node. Similar principle can be used to reroute the water level from one manhole to another. So if there are streams, so if it is a cross junction, it can stream of send the water to one path, it can send to other. So there will have to be a in place infrastructure for that. So we can prototype it, but currently in the Indian scenario, it will be difficult to directly implement.
Yeah,
But yes,
that's why
it
my
is
point
very
is
well
that
possible.
reroute means something like if you are detecting something, then you have some doors or some gates, they are there, and then you will close it and you redirect it, something like this you are planning.
Yes, sir. We are
Yes.
using a pumping motor to pressure the water into one of the streams. So if
Okay.
it is of low quality, then we pump it into one of the streams that is reserved
So,
for less treatment. That is what we said when we said that it will be a targeted approach to treatment.
and again that you have to do in the controlled manner, like how
Yes.
much you can flow at that place, that you have to also, that because you have to deal with those nodes also where you are diverting your water. So I think there you have to develop the algorithms are there, that is not the point. I think that you can manage it, but I think you have to put it, that rerouting also.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Definitely, sir.
Okay, sir. We will.
Yeah.
Okay, from that is good. Best of luck. I think it will be better. That have you done any, like for the prototype kind of work? What exactly is it? Hypothetical problem or is it real problem?
It is a real problem, sir. We have done a prototyping for it.
Okay, so you developed your prototype on the real system, on the real system. है
Yes,
ना?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Sugdha ma'am. Yashvi,
Yes, sir.
is there any connection problem with Sugdha ma'am? Because I can't see her. Yeah,
Let me check.
she's not here. So, okay, I think then we can continue. If ma'am is not there, then we can continue. No problem.
So there must be some network issue on your side, please. Now.
Yes, yes, there is some network issue. Yes, it is not. It is showing.
Okay, sir. So we may continue. So thank you, team, for the presentation. Now we have the last team.
Hi, I think I'm back.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, can I ask some question now?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Sure.
yeah, Mackenzie. So you said that you are using sensors and at the sewage level, and you use some Android app, and where you collect data in the forms of pictures,
Correct.
and using the IoT you analyze it.
Yes. Correct.
Acha. So the sensors will be installed in the sewage.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's a combination of these two things, pictures and sensors.
Actually, the pictures proportion is to generate a revenue stream as well to create the awareness. But it is for the cleaner water approach so that the people are aware. But the targeted approach is for sewage sensors only, and using the forecasting to suggest where will be the point of failure, or if will there be a overflowing of sewage manholes, or we can the same could be directly used in the river streams to suggest the villagers what is the water quality that they will be providing to their crop, or if the runoffs are discharging into a river, what is the impact. So those kind of things could be gathered through the image processing via mobile application, but pertaining to the sewage system we will be using sensors.
Okay. And do you have some model, some testing model, demo model for this?
Yes, ma'am, we created it during our college time, then we disintegrated it. So we have the stimulation at the cloud level in our GCP model. So we have stimulated a node or a microcontroller that sends the log data, and then we are currently working on how we can make it more analytically strong suit. So
And
the
these are
hardware
results
part,
from the model.
the hardware part we don't have currently.
So you don't have any hardware ready for now?
For now, no.
Acha, acha. So you have idea now, as of now you don't have any device to tell exactly what's going to happen or what's happening.
So, ma'am, we implemented it and then we disintegrated it. So we
Why?
implemented, and this is the visualization results
Why
from.
did you disintegrate it?
It was a
Ma'am, we
2.5 year, 2 years
we
back.
correct. We tried to make it better, and we're still trying to enhance it in the best way possible.
Acha.
So these are the results from the model. So this is a Grafana visualization from the model, and this is how we detect our monitoring. We detect our data for monitoring purposes. We use it for monitoring.
Mhm. Okay, so now how far have you been now by redesigning this device?
So actually, we are not just working on this particular set. We are extending our research into what are the smart solutions for a smart city related. So currently, we are making ourselves more developed into machine learning experts, and we took on some air solution set, and then we worked on some image processing. So this is how we worked on some smart solution for defense. So this is how we are moving. For this particular solution, we haven't actually worked on from
The Android application perspective.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, team.
Thank you, Ashwin.
So we would like to move on to the next team, and the last team we have for today, which is Team Make an Impact. We have Anirudh Krishna from Team Make an Impact.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Anirudh. Are you able to present your screen?
Please. Is it visible?
Yes, your screen is visible.
So, I am Anurup Krishna and I am here with a solution to the water shortage problem which negatively impacts almost entire Indian population. So, the contents of this presentation are description of the problem, water shortage around the globe, our solution, how will we start, the future prospects, pros and cons and references. So let's brief this water shortage issue. About 2 lakh habitations in the country are affected by low water quality. Bad water give rise to diseases like diarrhea, which affects 37 million annually, and when not properly treated, result in casualty. Water in some areas also contain fluoride and heavy metal, which are lethal in high concentrations. Now, around the globe, we can see the red areas facing acute water scarcity. Most part of India faces extreme water stress. So, to tackle this issue, we have come up with a unique algae-based filtration method. Algae Pithophora, often called as horsehair, it can survive and grow in wide climatic conditions, especially grows well in Indian subcontinent. So, how do we start? Till now, this algae is processed to make cellulose, which is made into filter paper, which is used to obtain clean water. It can effectively remove most of the contaminants like heavy metals and other ions and dirt from water. So to start, we will distribute the filter paper in villages for use. Then the used paper would be collected and sent to recycling. The village ponds may be used as a breeding tank for algae. To expand this project, we can set up a unified filtration tank, or we can make a polymer based algae filter unit which can filter at a community level. So here are some pros and cons of this project. The con is majorly revolving around the filter paper, as it is a use and throw commodity and should have to be properly disposed and recycled. But still, you should consider this project as it is cheap, easy to use and portable solution which can remove most of the contaminants and deliver clean water. So thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, Krishna, your concept is good, but we are not able to find much information about that. Like, if you can show us that prototype, if you can present the figure or diagram, something like this. So it will be better for us to understand because it is very much theoretical. That's why I'm saying. Maybe it is very useful, and definitely, if you are saying that it is already mentioned. So if what you are mentioning that here that about the pollutants, so I suggest you have to perform the lab study. Like you have to take different pollutants, different level of contaminated waters. Then you have to apply your product or your filter paper. Then you have to give the uh, values or readings of those filtered water. So I mean, I'm not able to get that is more theoretical. So what do you say about it?
Sir, it's been already tried in Bangladesh. They have tried to grow algae in a controlled environment and then tried to filter some, and it was successful to an extent there. You can see in this link.
Okay, and what will be the rate of filtration? Is there any information about that? Rate of filtration?
Sir, I didn't find any information regarding that, but it's like more like a filter paper, so like used in chemistry labs and.
Okay. 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 From my side, it is okay. Sudha ma'am?
What types of algae are you talking about?
Ma'am, it's Pithophora algae.
Where do they grow?
Ma'am, in stagnant water ponds and where there is a humid condition.
Then how are you going to use them at different places?
Ma'am, till now, ma'am, it is used like the algae we extract the algae and make cellulose, extract cellulose from, and then the cellulose is used to make filter paper, and then the filter paper is used to filter water.
Acha. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, sir, and thank you, Anurup. Now I would like to call upon Shivangi. She will continue forward.
Is Prajwal still here? And can I ask him a question?
Yes, he's here. Prajwal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so Prajwal, you said that your device will be in between the pipeline and the tap, normal tap.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Right? So if it is a normal tap, how will it function?
Ma'am, the normal tap will normally just be on. The solenoid valve will control whether the water will flow or whether it will not. So
So
it
it
is
will
basically
be on always.
yes, ma'am. The taps, like faucet, will be on, but the thing is, the water will not be flowing through the tap unless and until the solenoid valve activates it.
Okay.
So, ma'am, it's like the tab, like the thing which you turn. I don't know exactly what's that called. It is called as, but it will be on. But then there'll be no water between from the place where the water is evacuated till our smart water tap, and until the solenoid valve does not let the water go out, meaning it does not open. There'll be no water that is coming out from the tap.
And how does solenoid identify whether the water has to flow now or not?
Ma'am, that is based on the sensor. So there's an ultrasonic sensor. So if there's any
Hmm.
object that comes below the tap,
Hmm.
then it will start. And if there is an instance that the object is placed for more than 1 minute and it has not been removed or kept, that means there's just some obstacle there. So after 1 minute, it will automatically turn off. The object has
Right.
to be removed from the sensor and kept again on top of it in order for it to start evacuating water again.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yashvi, you can carry on now.
Hello. Shivangi, are you there? Anurup, you can stop presenting your screen now.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, Shivangi.
Hello, thank you so much everyone for such an amazing session. Results will be announced today at 8 a.m. at 8 p.m. Sorry. We are looking forward to the successful implementation of the ideas proposed and hope that these ideas will be able to bring significant change in the society. Now I would like to call Srishti to give a token of appreciation to sir and say few words.
Yeah.
Srishti,
Yeah, thank you, Shivangi. So, thank you so much for this opportunity. I would first like to present token of appreciation to Dr. Shishir sir and Sukita ma'am. We are really obliged to have you as a judge for the event. So thank you for your time and making us acquaint with the ground level problem. And your experiences in the field are going to undeniably help the students to generate solutions which are more feasible at the ground level. I think the insights given by our judges are really valuable for the students who have provided the solution. It is a valuable session for sure altogether. Now, it is also great to see how the Social Service Council has arranged an event like Social Innovation Challenge for Jal Rakshan in collaboration with Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. it have been a challenge for them to conduct this entire thing online, like from workshops to from workshops to this to the final event. And so now I would love to see if these ideas which are given by the participants are there present in the real life, and they can improve and influence life of thousands of people and lakhs of people, sorry, living in different villages. Okay, so great team, great work team. And yeah, so the efforts put by the team are really immeasurable. Okay, and last but not the least, I would like to thank the participants without whom this event would have had without whom this event would not have had any meaning. So the solutions provided by all of them are really, really innovative, and I would love to see these ideas come to real life. And great work, participants. And now I would like to request the judges, Sukhita ma'am and Shishir sir, to present their thoughts on the event.
Thank you. So it was nice that all presentations were good, and I say best of luck to all to really implement those ideas. And I think they should try to start their development of prototypes, or they have to uh, create the data like testing data at the lab level, so that they can further analyze their product, and then they can enhance the quality or workability of the project. So with this word, I would like to say thank you, and thank you for your invitation.
Thank you so much, sir. And ma'am, are you there?
I joined Shishirji and saying the almost same words, that actually coming up with such nice ideas is it is itself a challenging thing, and you all have come up some sort of new innovative ideas, research, and some works tests you have already done. And I wish you all the best, and all the best to the also organizing team. I know you have been working hard for many days, and so, and thank you so much for inviting me, and I wish all of you all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I guess now we'll, on this note, let us end this session, and thank you everyone for participating with all zeal and enthusiasm. The results will be announced by tonight. Okay. So let's end this meeting as of now.